I have two shears to sharpen that I need to get out today that came into me. This is just ordinary sharpening. If you're new to my channel, which I know a lot of you are, or if you're returning, welcome back. This is just some ordinary sharpening. A lot of the sharpening I do, I'm Bonnie McGowan, Bonika Shears, and I've been sharpening for over 30 years. And most of the sharpening I get in now is repairing work from other sharpeners. Or maybe they're more difficult things. These should be pretty straightforward and simple. This is our Bonika Jazzy Shear. This is our Dragon Shear, and doesn't look like they've ever been sharpened, so they should be pretty easy sharpening. So I'm just going to go through the sharpening in real time. And while I'm sharpening, I'm going to talk a little bit about why do people get into this business. So, and I've had this discussion just this morning. Ray was here. He's a local barber supply. And his answer why he got into the barber supply business, and he brings me shears for sharpening, was pretty much my story. So I'll share some things with you, and we'll get into sharpening these shears. So just to kind of talk you through what I'm going to be doing is, this is my Cymek flat hone, the Cymek HD, which means I can sit down to sharpen. Right now I have a felt polishing plate on here, which is not what I need right now. Let me triage my shears, and I'll just kind of catch you up what I'm doing, and let's talk about why someone might want to get into shear sharpening. Now, the number one reason is not the high income. Now, you can make good money doing this, don't get me wrong. But the number one reason people become shear sharpeners or go from part-time sharpeners to full-time is their children or their family. To spend more time with their family or their mate, or maybe even have more time for their hobby. There's some people that are tent makers. If you don't know what a tent maker is, in the Bible, Apostle Paul, who wrote most of your New Testament, he was a tent maker. In other words, he traveled around, told people about Jesus, wrote a lot of the Bible, but he also, to support himself, he made tents. And so that's how the term tent maker came about for people that I'm going to test these shears before I start sharpening. Yeah, they cut pretty good. I think our problem was a loose screw, but I'll still sharpen them. These cut pretty good, so this should be easy sharpening. When I get through, they'll cut wet tissue, which is a much harder test, and I'll check them on hair. So he made tents, and he worked with some other people that made tents, and that supported his missionary journeys and supported himself. And it was one of those businesses that he could take anywhere because everybody needed tents. And that's sort of what this business is. This is one that you can take it anywhere. I know some people that just travel around and sharpen, or some that have just one location and a store. It's sort of however you want to do it. But the beauty is you have control of your time. And that's what got me into it, was I wanted to have more control of my time. And my children were young. I was in my early 30s. As you can tell, I'm a little older than 30 now. I've been doing this a while. You can look at my little gnarled hands here. What I really like now is this business has allowed me to allow my children to spend time with their children. So today, while I'm working with this, you might find me interrupted by the phone or someone coming in, because Misty is actually spending time with her children. And if you're new to my channel, you don't know who Misty is. Those of you that watch all the time know who she is. It's my oldest daughter who pretty much runs the business. She gets the orders out. She tells me what's on the calendar. She schedules things on the calendar. If you call in to schedule sharpening training, you'll be talking to her. What I'm doing now, I'm working my stone. This is a 2000 grit stone with my Nagura stone. And make sure, a lot of people I train, and even while they're here, they forget this. You've got to be all the way up to the hilt. that area has to be on your stone. If you don't, these shears aren't going to cut. And it's about 10 pounds of pressure. I like to use the red marker because I can see immediately, like right now I didn't get to the tip. A little bit more pressure on the tip. I can see immediately if I haven't got the right line. That's that inside shiny line on these shears. So I've got a lot more videos on sharpening. Mostly shear sharpening, which has been my specialty, the beauty shear sharpening. Although I'm doing more and more of the clipper blades and more of the dog grooming shears. But the salon shears have always been my specialty. And frankly, I just like working with hairstylists. They're just kind of neat people. So, this is a slightly worn 1000 grit. I don't need to take off a lot of metal here because these weren't cutting that bad. So I'm going to do a scratch test. Should be 45. I think I'm set on 45. Close enough. That looks about right. And because my clamp rotates, it keeps me from going beyond that 45-degree angle. And I'm wanting to pull up a burr, which a burr is when you take metal off one side, it pushes it to the other. Maybe I'm not right at 45. Let me move down like 1 notch. Or maybe I don't have a coarse enough grit here. This 1000 might be a little worn. 800's my favorite. We're out of 800 grit right now. I'm not sure why. Probably because I've said so many videos, 800's my favorite. It's the one we sell the most of. Now this didn't have any deep nicks, so I don't need to take off a lot of metal. And you notice I'm feeling with these fingers. So the number one reason people get in this business is family. Or having extra time. Having the flexibility of it. Like I said, the money part comes into play in that if you're going to be spending time away from family or your hobby or your ministry or whatever your essential thing in life is, you might as well be making the most money for the time invested. And sharpening can do that. Right now, this is 2025. These videos stay around a long time. And average around the country is between $30 and $40 a pair. And you're going to see how quickly I do this, even talking. I've got polish on here, diamond polish and rouge. And I want to turn this a little bit just so I don't roll over the edge. And that blade's essentially done. I find that people get into this business because they're a groomer, they're a hairstylist, they're a barber, or their husband or their wife or their significant other is a barber or a groomer or someone who uses shears or clipper blades. And they're very frustrated because they can't find someone to sharpen, or they're getting sharpening done and it's done very poorly. So they're ruining their investment in their shears or their clipper blades. And that's the other reason people get into this, is they're just frustrated and they need to, for their own purposes. And then if they're going to be doing the clipper blades and scissors and things for themselves, they might as well do it for their area or their community. So the second is that they see the need. And sometimes it's not even a husband or a spouse or something. It's I've had a few times where someone was in the hair salon and they heard the stylist complaining, I can't get my shears sharpened. My shears are so dull, and you know, there's nobody to sharpen them, or the last person, they'll just overhear the things in the salon, and it puts the idea in their head. So that would be your second one, is that they see the need. I don't know why I turned that down, because I'm going to need it again when I go back to kiss it on here. What would be another reason someone gets into this? If you have a reason that I haven't mentioned here, put it in the comments. Or maybe you're thinking about getting into this and you have a reason, or you agree with some of the reasons I have. Health is one. So I've had people come in here that had other jobs. Sometimes they're a groomer and their back is bothering them, picking up the dogs and all doing that kind of work, or they're a barber or hairstylist, and they're just tired of being behind the chair, and so they're looking at something that's easier on their body. As you see, this is pretty easy on me. I'm not putting out any extra effort. I've had a few truck drivers that were tired of being on the road, and they were having problems with their back or other health issues, and they, for some reason, came across one of these videos and said, hey, that looks like something I would enjoy doing. And they get into it for that. Now, another reason I get people getting into this is it is a good way to meet people, especially if you like being around groomers or hairstylists or barbers. You're out with them. Usually I like to sharpen in the salon, and I can sit back there and chat with them and talk to them. And if you're just a friendly, outgoing person, that might be a reason. I have some that get into this because they've already been in sales in the beauty industry. Maybe that's their career. And they would like to be independent. They would like to not work for some big beauty supply company. And they see sharpening as it's something that's a pure profit. I mean, it's once you got your initial investment, there's really no overhead to speak of. These little blue film that wear out, you see how many shears I do with one of them. They're, about $1 a piece, maybe less than $1. The bumpers, sometimes you have to replace them. Screws, rarely do you have to replace screws. Usually it's like I'm working on it now and I drop it and I lose it. So there's very little overhead as far as what you need to keep buying to do this business. Now, most people that are sharpening shears will also sell shears because they just go hand in hand. But there's some people that have been in this beauty supply business and the sales end of it, and they realize that they're missing a whole lot not being able to sharpen the shears. And some ease into it, do it part-time, and then some just jump in with both feet full-time. Right now, I'm at the retirement age that most of my friends are retired, and I do it because I really enjoy it. I enjoy teaching. I can't think of anything else I'd rather do. Oh, that cuts beautiful. Let's see how it cuts some hair. Thumb out. Maybe a little push. I think it's good though. So that one's done. How long did that take me? I was tying ribbons, but Ramon Eichard, and if you watch some of my videos, you've heard me mention Ramon. He'll be one of our instructors at our Sharpeners Jam this year. He was last year. He uses these little twist ties. I like these because they're a little quicker to tie than bows. Ricky, who works for me, you'll see him on some of the videos. he just cannot tie a bow. I mean, it's just really, he's a great sharpener, but he can't tie a bow. So the twisties keep the shears from opening when I ship them off. So that one's done. I've got this other one, the Dragon Shear, which happens to be our shear of the month. This is our brand of Shears, Bonika. Let me think of some other reasons people get into this. Maybe some young people because they don't want to go to college. They know that that going to technical school or having a skill can make them more money than going to college. And this is something that most of the people that come for 2 days. They can stay up to 5 days if they want to, if they feel like they need it, and they've got it. You know, they can jump right out of the box and start sharpening and making money. They're not having to go to, let's say, cosmetology school, which you're talking about maybe a year and a half or something. Some of even the trade schools, they might be only a few months, but then you start out at pretty low income. This one, you're going to start right off the bat making good money. So it's a career that doesn't take as much training and can yield high income. So that's why some of the people get into it. They're not college bound, but they are motivated, and they're self-starters. And then the other reason people get into this is that they want to have their own business, and they really want a low investment. So I'm not getting that tip. Turn this around. Sometimes that'll do it. I think this person is a point cutter. You'll see this sometimes with people that do a lot of cutting with just the point of their scissors. You'll see them, they kind of snip, snip, snip. So this last idea is that they get into this because it's a low overhead, low investment. If you are sharpening in the salons, you don't need a special van, you don't need a store location, you don't need anything like that. You can go into the salons, I know people that work off their motorcycles, and do a scratch test, see where my angle is. Looks pretty good. And the machine, I mean, this one, there's one that's less expensive, but this one's $3,600. The other equipment that you might need, water stones, those kind of things, probably less than $250 or something like that. The training, the cost for training right now is $1,500 for shear sharpening. That's a 2-day class. Yeah, you can learn in 2 days. Because what I do is I send you, this is just getting too worn out. Let's see what good this is. I send you a bunch of videos to watch before you come. No, not that one. Ooh, that's a fresh 800. Where'd that come from? Let me switch from this to this. I send you a bunch of videos to watch before you come. I also have a new book that is in the process of being printed and edited. It'll be out soon, but I do have as an ebook that I send it to you. That is very detailed. Right now it's over 51,000 words. And it's aggressive. So that by the time you come, you've got the head knowledge. I'm just going to be working with your hands to make sure you're doing the hand work correct. Got a burr there. So, I mean, if you were to have a store, you know, people buy franchises, you would have a, I want to turn this a little bit so I don't roll over the edge. If you had a store and you had franchises and you had to pay royalties or something like that, I mean, we're going to give you as much help probably as what a franchise would give you. I mean, because I'm here on the phone for you. If you have questions or if you have a problem with a shear that you can't sharpen, you can send it to me. I've got some like that I'll be doing next. You can really get started very quickly, very low income. So that's another reason people get into this. I don't know if I mentioned, I continue to sharpen because I do enjoy it, and I do enjoy teaching, and I love it when people come back or they let me know that they are taking their wives on Mediterranean cruises, or they're able to support their families, or maybe they're bringing their son or their daughter or something here for me to train because it's been such a good business for them. They want to make sure that their son and daughter gets into this and does it correctly. It gives me a lot of satisfaction to be able to help people have a career with that makes good money, but it's flexible for their families. Feel like I'm making a difference in the world. Not just my family, because as I said, my children are able to spend time with their children because of this business. But there's a lot of people out there that are able to spend time with their families and still have a good income. So I'm finishing these up. I'm trying to think, are there other reasons? I'm sure there are. Some people may have been already sharpening knives or lawnmower blades or something like that, and they just want the feel of doing something a little bit more cleaner, delicate. They've got people coming in and asking if they sharpen these things because they've been sharpening knives, and there's requests for it. I tell people if they can specialize, have a sharpening that they specialize in. Now for me, it's the beauty shears, but I do clipper blades and I do the grooming shears because people want to learn that. And so I do some coming in. I'm trying to get all the red off, so what I'm trying to do right now. So I do the mail order and I do the walk in the door things. And you continue to learn in this business. You never get to where you know it all. So it's a matter of putting this one together. And I'm about out of battery, so I want to hurry up and finish this before I have to change batteries. This particular shear has 2 washers in it. Some do. You don't have to put both of them back in. Sometimes you can just save one. But they almost all of them will have either a washer or one of those ball bearing washers. And I'm putting this back together with the shears open, because if I put it back together with them touching, I can nick the two blades. And when they're this sharp, it's very easy to nick them. So I'm going to kind of feel where the adjustment is. These were the ones that were loose when she gave them to me. Do my first cut either on a tissue or a paper towel. I didn't like the way that felt. Oh, it's because it's loose. I have to put another washer in there. Yeah. So I'm going to fix the washer on this, but I feel certain these will cut fine. Yeah, I mean, they cut good. So I'm going to tell you goodbye because my battery's about out. But I did both these shears in, just a few minutes. So I hope that was helpful. If you're thinking about going full-time, you're already a sharpener, or you're thinking about getting in the sharpening business, some of these ideas might be helpful. But put in the comments which ones were your reason for getting into this business and which ones maybe I missed. Hey, I'm Bonnie McGowan, and this is what I do. About every Monday, I'll be uploading a new video. So if you want to see them and catch them, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell. If you have any comments or suggestions of some videos you'd like to see, make sure you let me know. I answer all the comments. Now, if you're looking for the tools that I used in this video and the different things that I used, those should be in links below or on the product page, or if not, you should find them on my website, Bonika.com. There's all kinds of things in the description below on how you can connect and contact me. So stay sharp. I'll see you in the next video.